One of my most favorite things to do in video games is to defeat the bosses. I love video game bosses, the lead up, the hype to them, and then the big baddie himself taking him down is one of the greatest feelings to do in video games. And the fact that there's a game out there now where you can make your own levels called Mario Maker, I was so excited to create my own bosses as well. Now you can create some pretty unique self-made bosses with blocks and stuff like that, but the boss palette that they give you is so limited. Let's use Mario Maker 1 for an example. In the very first Mario Maker, you only had the options to choose between Bowser and Bowser Jr. Now, you could put one of them in a clown car, make them bigger and stuff like that, but that was the extent of it. It was just them two. They were the only bosses, and it was kind of strange. So I thought for sure Mario Maker 2 was going to ramp it up. And in fact, they only added two more, Boom Boom and Pom Pom, which are fun additions nevertheless, but they still are missing some vital bosses, and that is why we are here today. So we are going through the Mario Brothers timeline to see exactly what bosses we can pull from. Now obviously the original Mario Brothers only had Bowser, so we won't be pulling from that content, but from Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario 3D World, and of course every single new Super Mario Brothers game, because I feel like the enemies can be really well represented from either the DS game, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, or even New Super Mario Brothers 2. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let me tackle the elephant in the room first, the Koopalings. How in the world did they not make it in Mario Maker? It blows my mind. They're in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, they're in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it seems like they're appearing, I think they're even in the new Dr. Mario game for mobile, so I really don't even understand how they didn't make it into Mario Maker. Each and every single one of the children has a unique property and a unique fighting pattern that makes them different from one another, which would be super exciting to have something different in Mario Maker. It'd be like different variants of Boom Boom. One could fly, one could float in the water, one could jump really high, you know? And it's just stuff like that. Each of them have their own attributes, which would be really fun to play around with. And I'm actually going to show you gameplay from every single game of all the Koopalings to show exactly what they could do in Mario Maker. Next up we have Bowser Jr. Yes, he's in the game, but his moveset is very underutilized compared to what he can do in the other Mario Brothers games. For instance, his clown car has more capabilities than just flying. He can go underwater and turn into a submarine, where he can shoot torpedoes at Mario. He has giant boxing gloves on the side of his car that he can try to punch Mario with. He can throw items out of his clown car. There's a lot of things that he can do that Mario Brothers, or Mario Maker rather, doesn't really give him. For instance, yes, he can throw things out of his clown car, but it's very limited. You know, he has this more diverse moveset in the other Mario Brothers games, and I just wish that they brought some of that over, like when you had a bumper cars with him into the electricity. Stuff like that could really make Bowser Jr. more of a diverse character. We might have Magic Koopas in the game, but one thing we do not have is Kamek himself. He is the little underling of Bowser that flies around on a broomstick and just creates havoc all over the stage. He's the one that revives Bowser every time at the end of every Mario Brothers game, so why not give him his shot in Mario Maker? Like I said, Magic Koopa is there, but Kamek brings so much more to the table as he can fly around, create blocks, create puzzles for Mario to traverse around, and Mario has to always make a way to the top in order to hit him off of the broom. And I just think this would be something that would be really interesting that they could add to the game. Even though he only has like 2 boss fights, it's still really fun to see him in the game. It'd be a really cool addition. Next up, we have Reznor. Now, some of you guys may not even remember these dudes, but they appeared in many Mario Brothers games, where they're just these rhinoceros sitting on these platforms, and all you have to do is bump the bottom of them. It's actually one of the easiest bosses in probably Super Mario Brothers history. But why not throw them in the game? Because creators can actually add some cool things to the tracks and to the spinning platforms, where maybe they can put up some fireballs or some other enemies attacking, or maybe increase the hit count of the blocks to maybe 2 or 3 instead of just 1. There's a lot of things that people could probably do with this and put keys in certain ones for people to hit and just make it really hard for them to reach. So I could see this being added later on down the road, because it doesn't seem like a big boss that would be difficult to implement. Now, since we have Boom Boom and Pom Pom, why not add Sumo Bro? He appeared in Super Mario Bros. U, and he was really fun to fight. You know, I thought he was pretty clever, even though he's quick and easy, but all he does was smash the ground and kind of stun Mario and send these electric shocks after him, but Mario can just hit these platforms underneath him to kind of toss him around and eventually jump on top of his stomach, which I had a lot of fun battling him, and I thought he was just something different and something new for the Mario Bros. Franchise. Big Boo from Super Mario World is a boss fight that isn't really necessarily needed, but it is something that would be cool to implement because you can't really recreate this at the moment. There's no Big Boo. There's a Big Boo, which is slightly bigger than the original, but there's no Giant Boo like this one. And it'd just really be cool to chuck some blocks at a ghost. Why not? Just let me bring this one on the list, okay? Giant Bowser battles. Yes, you can increase Bowser's size in Mario Maker currently, but increasing his size really just makes him look like the regular Bowser. In these Mario Brothers games, they increase him to ginormous proportions. When you kill Bowser the first time, Kamek comes in and completely changes the scene by making Bowser a sky-towering tower. And he chases you after some type of chase sequence, either from a 2D perspective, and sometimes he even swings at you from a 3D perspective. Now, we see this in 3D World with Meowser, and I wish they would kind of add some aspects like that with Bowser in the other game themes. I think it would be pretty cool to have him swinging at you from the background, from the foreground, stuff like that, or just have him chasing you in some type of sequence where you have to hit a giant switch in order to kill him. It'd be that simple. Just place a giant switch on the stage, and when you reach it, Bowser will die. And of course, if you have Mega Bowser, you have to include the infamous Dry Bowser. Now, he doesn't really change much up, he just has blue fire and looks kind of sweeter, but just why not? Maybe he could throw Dry Bones or something. I don't know, but he looks cool. Put him in the game because I said so. Now, there's still 2 more games that I want to cover, and starting with New Super Mario Bros. DS, because all the bosses, or most of the bosses in this game, are unique and they are different than all the other Mario Bros. Games for some reason. So I'm going to run through all the bosses in one category for New Super Mario Bros. DS to show you why all these bosses should be in the game. The Mummy Pokies, simply because we don't have a regular Pokey enemy in the game for some reason, and just why not have a spiky version one that you can jump on his head and he spits rocks at you. Cheap Skipper, I know we have those giant puffer fishes in the game, but why not add this guy because he's different and he's a boss. Mega Goomba, we can make enemies big, but why not this big? This would be really cool. Petey Piranha, he's appeared in literally almost every single Mario game to date, so why not put him in Mario Maker? The Monty Tank, because it's literally a Monty Mole in a tank. Do I have to say anything else? And then last but not least, we have Lack of Thunder, and I just think he looks sweet. Come on, look at this dude. And then of course we now have Super Mario 3D World, where we're also going to do the same and run through the possible bosses that would be really cool in Mario Maker. So let's get into it. Histocrat, this giant snake that can pop out of the ground, and the characters have to either use Cat Mario or other structures to either climb up the snake or make their way to the top and pounce on his head. I think it'd be pretty dope, and his little snake companions can pop up as well. Boss Boulder. The enemies aren't in the game, and I guess neither is the boss then, because this guy's pretty cool. You could pick him up, toss him in the lava, throw him on the ground, do some cool things with them outside of the boss mechanic that would help with level design. I think it'd be pretty dope. King Kathunk is a giant cagey enemy that tries to fall on you and you have to jump on his back. Now this might be kind of hard to replicate in 2D. All he would have to do is move up and down instead of the 4 corners, but you just have to, judge if he's upper or if he's lower and just go to where he's not, dodge him, and then jump on his back. It'd be kind of cool since there's not really an enemy that you can do that with, such as Whomps. Motley Bosblob is this weird little creepy little creature that turns into this giant blob and tries to hop on you. And you can use the double cherries to help smash all his blobs and then eventually him. And this could be a cool thing to use, but there's no double cherries in the game currently for Mario Maker, which wouldn't take away from this boss. But it'd be cool to see these little guys all over the stage everywhere, and you have to keep hitting them to make them smaller and smaller, and then he builds up into his giant blob again, over and over again. That would be kind of cool. Well, guys, that is all the bosses I have for you at the moment. If I missed any, or if there's some that you really did enjoy, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the videos that I post. And please like the video if you enjoyed. That helps the video to grow ginormously. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I will see you guys on the next one. See you guys.